I can't believe I've not made a video about this topic already. Maybe I was waiting until I felt I'd seen enough beaches to make a comparison. I've visited around 40 beaches in the Philippines now, so I think I've seen enough now to give a decent assessment.
Hello, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Bigg World Cinema. Without further ado, we'll continue with what you're here for.
What makes a good beach for you? You're probably mostly thinking about the classic perfect picture postcard paradise, a white sandy beach with turquoise sea, of which the Philippines has a number. Naturally, with 7,641 islands in the Philippines, there's certainly going to be some scorchers here. But what makes a good beach, in my opinion? For me, I'm not really fond of remote beaches which are off the beaten track and have nothing there apart from the beach. Sure, I've visited a few of these in the Philippines, but I don't really care much for sitting on a beach all day and getting sand up my Khyber Pass. But for those of you who are regular on my channel will know, the perfect start to a day for me is strolling along a beach just after sunrise, and the perfect end to the day is having a sundowner at a beachside bar watching the sun set. Although seeing both on one beach in one day is probably rare in the Philippines, and given the option that I'd rather take sunrise over sunset, as for me, seeing the sunset signifies another day closer to the grave. Cheery, huh? So these, in my opinion, are the top destinations for good beaches. How about blah 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 blah, I hear you cry. Well, I've not been there yet, obviously. CEBU Island alone has a number of great beaches, both on the main island and off the coast of Cebu. You could spend a week on Bantayan Island, which has a few good beaches not far away from each other, notably Sugar Beach, and my favourite beach on Bantayan, Sandira Beach, which is also known as Paradise or Secret Beach, although it's not much of a secret really. I was able to get a motorbike taxi to take me there from the town, as the path leading to the beach is quite arduous. There's a small entrance fee for Sandira Beach, which is well worth it. 60. Although it's only a small beach, I spent a wonderful afternoon there with a group of Filipinos keen to share their food and drink with me, which is fortunate as there's no stalls or bars here, which might sound the perfect place for you, but not for me when sunset approaches and you've got nowhere to buy your sundowner from. I also travelled to the far north of Bantayan Island, to Madridejos. It doesn't have a particularly good beach, however, but as I was strolling along the promenade there, I caught sight of a couple of filipinas putting on a display more spectacular than dolphin watching, so I thought I'd just include this footage here. On CEBU Island itself, the best beaches are in the south of the island, in the Moalboal area. White Beach is considered the best beach here, and again, having journeyed there from the town, walking around the coastline for a couple of hours, I received a Filipina welcome when I crashed out on the beach and was presented with a couple of chasers. Moalboal town itself doesn't have much going for it, in my opinion. After dark, it transforms into party central, with 10 bars on the main street trying to out-decibel each other by playing the loudest music. Not my scene at all. A strictly no-go, deadly zone. Ha! I wonder if anyone will recognise who I borrowed those lyrics from. There's a much nicer beach around 16 kilometres from Moalboal at Bigg Beach. You definitely need your own transportation to get to this beach, which is off the main highway. Again, there's a small entrance fee to use the beach, but they have restaurant shacks and even places to stay on the beach if you want to sleep overnight. Bigg truly is a paradise beach. Like Secret Beach, Bigg is another favourite of mine. There are a couple of other islands off Cebu worth considering. I never went to Malapascua, Having stayed on Bantayan Island for 10 days, I decided to skip it and head straight to Bohol instead. I have, however, visited Camotes Island. Back in days of COVID, when the only islands we were permitted to visit were in CEBU province, I went with my girlfriend there. So Camotes was the first Philippine island I ever visited. We stayed at Santiago Bay, which was okay. There were a couple of restaurant shacks on the beach for a sundowner, but I wouldn't rush back there. The island is quite big, so you really need a scooter to travel around. Say what you will about Boracay, most people will say it's very touristy, overcrowded and overpriced, which I agree with. But the white beach that stretches for 4 kilometres from Station 1 to Station 2 to Station 3 really is the best stretch of white sand in the Philippines. And to get away from the crowds who gather like sheep at Station 2 to take identical sunset photographs at sunset.
Here at BWC, Uncle doesn't charge a subscription fee like Auntie does, but buying us a coffee would be much appreciated. Thank you.
What I like about Boracay is that it's pretty compact. You don't need your own transport here. Everything is within walking distance, and there's hundreds of hotels, shops, bars and restaurants to choose from. I've stayed on Boracay twice now. On my first day, I stayed away from the crowds down at Station 3, which didn't feel very touristy at all. I found some places to eat and drink that were budget friendly. On my second visit to Boracay, I found travelling from the airport on Panglao Island to the port to Boracay Island just as frustrating to navigate as the first time I'd been there. And also on my second visit, I realised how expensive Boracay really is compared to other places in the Philippines. Although, as I've already said, it is possible to find places to stay and dine and drink that are budget friendly, but I do find Boracay to be quite expensive overall to keep up its image. Restaurant owners know that the island attracts wealthy people with money to blow, so will inflate their prices accordingly and still be able to attract customers nightly. Boracay does, however, have spectacular sunsets, which justifies the trouble you've taken to get there and the money you spend whilst you're there. All you need to do is walk 20 minutes in either direction and you'll find tranquility, which you'll equally find on the other side of the island at Moalboal Beach. Not only at sunrise, but also throughout the day, as few people will spend their day there. Apart from the kite surfers, as the wind factor on this beach is pretty evident.
All I want is all of you, baby, baby. Nothing less than that will do, baby, baby. You take me higher, higher, higher. You set my soul
Panglao Island, part of Bohol province, has a number of decent beaches on the island. Most people will flock to Alona Beach for its bars, restaurants and nightlife. It has everything you could possibly need within a confined area. However, in saying that is also Alona Beach's downfalling for me. As, like Moalboal, the businesses along the seafront compete with each other by blaring music out at deafening volume. I don't know why establishments feel they need to attract clientele with loud music. But that's the world now, isn't it? Noise, noise, noise. Or noise annoys, as the Buzzcocks so memorably sang about. Just turn it down, for fuck's sake, says an old man. I also find the continuous badgering by touts wanting to sell day trips, taxis, sunglasses, Viagra, etc. much more annoying on Alona Beach compared with Boracay. I bought a truckload of Viagra in Thailand, thank you very much, and still have plenty left to keep me going, thanks. The best time to be on Alona Beach is first thing in the morning, walking along the beach as the boats are preparing to go off on their day trips. I spent a few pleasant mornings there when it's not that busy. Later in the day, when I'd return for a sundowner, I'd walk along the seafront, monitoring the decibel level on each establishment before deciding where to pew and people watch. Both Boracay and Alona Beach are favourites of mine in that respect, for sitting at a beach and chilling, or trying to. There are a few other beaches on Panglao Island worth visiting, notably White Beach and Dumaluan Beach, which are connected to each other. They are along the same coastline as Alona Beach, but heading in the other direction towards Tagbilaran, and are not as built up as Alona Beach. Along this stretch of beach, there are also a couple of resorts which would charge you an admission fee to use that stretch of beach if you entered from the roadside. So don't do that. Just enter the beach from an area where you don't have to pay and just walk along the beach. I also visited Sandira Beach on the other side of Bohol Island. There are some lovely stretches of beaches here, which few tourists venture to over this way, so you'll pretty much have the beaches to yourself. And the town itself is pretty small, with not much of interest here, but the locals themselves are very friendly and welcoming. If you've already visited a number of beaches on Panglao Island, then you won't be seeing anything that different here, and it's only worth the effort if you're a total beach bum like me. So that's it for part 1. I realised I've got footage of too many beaches to fit on one video. So I'm going to be compiling a part 2 featuring my favourite beaches in Siquijor, Palawan, Negros, Luzon and Mindoro. So stay tuned for another extravaganza, folks.
Just a quick reminder to please click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or thumbs down button if you didn't. Obviously. Thank you. You've been watching Uncle, the man from Bigg World Cinema. Please like, subscribe and share with your friends.